So today we're talking about endpoints. And endpoints are the front line of cybersecurity. Laptops, mobile devices, Internet of Things gadgets, even remote desktops. And in 2024, 2025, attackers are moving faster and smarter and more automated. It means that your business needs to know the latest endpoint security trends to stay protected. So let's go over a few of those. So some of those include AI and machine learning defenses, zero trust, endpoint security, Internet of Things and remote endpoint risks, and continuous threat exposure management. So let's just briefly touch on the AI and machine learning defenses. Cyber criminals are using AI to automate attacks. The good news is defenders are also using AI. So machine learning helps detect unusual behavior and stop threats in real time. It's like having a 24/7 security analyst on every device. And so we're talking managed detection and response or SOC operations. Then another trend that we're seeing is zero trust endpoint security. And this is something that we very, very much value, is because zero trust means never trust, always verify. So every device, every login, every request is continuously checked. Even if the hacker gets access into something, zero trust stops them from moving freely across your network. So they can't jump from one endpoint to another endpoint quite so easily. The zero trust is going to request that they continue to authenticate on that. Now, the next thing is Internet of Things and remote endpoint risks. Now, it used to be that we looked at endpoints as just being laptops or desktops, but that's no longer the case. Businesses are now relying on Internet of Things sensors and smart devices, remote home network stuff. Even some businesses, employees come in and they bring in a smart light bulb. And so attackers love these devices because usually they're not patched and they're often overlooked. And so they become a weak link in the entire system and allow for a hacker to find a device to compromise. Now, we look at these things as significant risks. And so what we like to do is we like to say, hey, we're going to spin up your own wireless for Internet of Things devices that don't have any access to anything on your regular network. And you can connect them to that Wi-Fi, and they're only in their own enclave, their own encapsulated little network environment. So they have access to the internet like they need to, but they don't really have access to anything else. And that's why we like to create that Internet of Things wireless access network. Now, the next thing we're talking about is continuous threat exposure management. And traditional security checks once a quarter really don't work anymore because hackers are very active, all right? And so what we want to see is continuous threat exposure management, or CTEM. It means constantly scanning and fixing vulnerabilities. The faster you patch, the smaller the attack window, right? If there's a 0-day out there because of something being found, you want to get that thing patched as quickly as possible so that you don't find yourself compromised by that, because once they get access into systems, it's a whole lot easier for them to maintain access into the systems. So we want to continuously monitor and manage those patches, and when new patches come out, we want to get them in place as quickly as possible. Now, what should businesses do? Well, so that your business can stay ahead, you need to adopt a zero trust architecture, strong authentication, use AI-powered endpoint protection, okay? Endpoint detection response is a really good start to that, but you want to make sure that it's using a solid AI backing behind that. You want to protect your Internet of Things devices and remote devices, kind of like a little bit of what we discussed, and then automate your patching and vulnerability management. Now, that can be done in a lot of different ways. Depends on your management tools. It could be a management server. You could just go with the regular Windows or Apple updates, but those usually lag behind a little bit, and you want to get some of those things out quicker, sooner than what their, not necessarily their release date is, but when your computers are programmed to install those patches, all right? And then the next thing, and this is very, very important, is vet your vendors and partners for security. Because one of the things that hackers are trying to do is they're trying to hack your vendors and your partners in order to get access to you. And if your partners and vendors don't have good security, or let's say your partners and vendors have things hosted in the cloud that you log into, well, your information is still on their system. So if they get breached, a lot of your information can be stolen as well. And so investing into a little bit of extra research into the security of your vendors and partners is extremely important. We want to make sure that you are getting multi-factor authentication anytime that you can, but you also want to make sure that those vendors are also taking precautions on their side, not using default passwords, creating more or a higher level of encryption, or just simply encrypting their databases. And a lot of people don't seem to know how to do that. And that's why a lot of data ends up getting stolen, is because it gets left in a database that hasn't been encrypted. So just to wrap things up really quick and easily for you, endpoints are the new battleground of cybersecurity. And by embracing some of these trends between the zero trust, the AI, learning, separating your Internet of Things, constantly monitoring and managing patches well, and then being aware of your supply chain and your vendors are great ways to stay ahead of the game and to make sure that your business won't just survive, but it'll stay one step ahead of the attackers, and as we like to call it, being pre-proactive. Stay secure. I'm Sean with Solid IT. Have a great month.